whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Of due process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn the attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. The Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen, is at Commonwealth Cause, at Commonwealth Cause, only on Facebook, and you can actually see it here. That's where we are live doing our Commonwealth Cause, is the place where you get the latest updates on our book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process here in America. Now, ladies and gentlemen, normally how I get this channel started, this party started when we do a live stream. I come in the chat and I play my mute. I, of course, introduce our topics. We pay some dues and we play our music. I am not going to do that tonight like I didn't do it on Sunday, and I explained why. What's up there, DeAndre? What's up, Steve, Mac? I know I'm changed the time on when I was going to go live today. There was good reason why I did so right now. As many of you may or may not know, we shouldn't say we are facing a tornado watch here in the New Orleans area. And so I don't know when my power may, I'm going to come live now, may or may not be back on. So that's why I'm doing it early. I apologize if anybody thought otherwise, because I had said it late, but I realized right now probably would be the best time to get started in case the power went out or the internet went out, because you just never know with these situations. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get everything started. I need you all to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, especially share to let people know that we're live right now as we speak on Facebook and on YouTube at my backup channels, Gavin Richard, GB2786, and Gavin Rich 2786. That's on Periscope. Another reason why I just haven't done it is because ever since I have been putting my song out, and even though I can respond and win, because I always do, I have gotten nothing but copyright strikes, and in fact, somebody is already claiming ownership to a link from doing one of my trailers. Ownership link from Daydream Vlog, who I have no idea who the hell that is. So I'm getting tired of getting these strikes on my channel. I'm getting tired of getting, even though I can beat them, the fact that I got to keep answering them. Some stuff I just don't want to deal with. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started both soon. Uh, I'm just tired of dealing with it, but I'm gonna just introduce what our topics are. Of course, tonight on our live stream, weather was great for Super Sunday. You're absolutely right, DeAndre. President Joe Biden's remarks about the New World Order. Professor Cheryl Cooky, and I got it right, Cooky, disrespects the legacy of Jackie Robinson, and parents turn in 14s who killed a 73-year-old woman here in New Orleans. Can't wait to get into that. And also, even though I talked about this before, but Juicy Jussie's brother disrespects the black community. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen, on Gavin Richard Presents. It is Random Topic Tuesdays. And sorry, dude, I got people saying stuff in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, you be safe too, DeAndre, because I'm want to stay in, but I know you're up here in Slidell, so the weather is bad down up there as well. But y'all smash up the likes if you like this channel, if you like what we're doing. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Share the video. I'm actually going to share it now. So we're going to get started because I just don't want to waste time in case something happens. But let me just put this out on Twitter. Let me put this out on Facebook to let people know we are live. Let people know, ladies and gentlemen, we are live right now. We are live. We are live. And I'm coming at you with five. Oh, yes, this is the place to be right here with me. It is Random Topic Tuesdays on channel GB2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. So, ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about something big news that's here in New Orleans. Uh, on yesterday, there was an elderly woman who was dragged from her in a carjacking. She was dragged a couple of blocks out in mid city by her car from carjackers, and she lost her life. And what happened was, sadly, her arm was severed from the car door. So what I'm understanding is that she was being carjacked, and as these kids, these teenagers, robbed her
carjacked her, she was still holding on for dear life to her car. They kicked her out, but they dragged her so far that her arm got dislocated, and her arm was severed from her body. According to the police report, 73-year-old Linda Fricky
Monday
was
afternoon,
carjacked
Austin
and
Northcott
dragged.
knew something was
Sorry, this stuff it starts automatically. So she was dragged from her own SUV to death, where witnesses say it happened when a vehicle pulled up next to her parked SUV in the 300 block of North Scott Street. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, and you all can take a look at it. But this is the video I have here from WWL TV. So please put that fair use disclaimer up.
wrong in his mid-city neighborhood.
I heard screaming like you're about to die sort of scream, like one you don't hear. It's just not a normal scream.
Those screams were from a 73-year-old woman across the street who police say was carjacked and dragged to death by her own SUV. Witnesses say it happened when a vehicle pulled up next to her parked SUV on North Scott Street.
It's just heartbreaking to see that.
Witnesses say the woman was caught in her seatbelt and dragged as her SUV sped off on Bienville Avenue, just steps away from Mark and Leanne Mascar's front door.
I just started screaming and running because I just wanted to get this person from this car. And if I could do that, I could help this person.
Police say the woman's arm eventually detached from her body on North Pierce Street, freeing her from the SUV. Neighbors ran over to try and help.
She was still breathing. She was very slowly breathing.
I tried to call 911. Unfortunately, the phone rang for over 4 minutes and 45 seconds before I hung up from 911.
Todd Ecker says someone eventually got through. Mascar says it took 10 to 15 minutes for paramedics to get there.
She's still breathing. I could feel a pulse. And the anger was like, where the hell is the ambulance? You know, we were there and I kept hearing loads of police cars turn up but no ambulance.
When it did, paramedics pronounced the woman dead, leaving folks in this neighborhood horrified and police searching for 4 suspects.
They didn't just see the car, they murdered someone today.
I mean, it's Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not, everybody's out getting lunch, not worried about, whether or not they're going to live or not.
It was one of the most grotesque, surreal, horrific things I've ever seen. Complete recklessness, abandon, no regard for human life.
About 15 blocks away, on the corner of Dumaine and North Dupree, police found the SUV abandoned in the Bayou St. John neighborhood. 2 crime scenes, adding to a growing list of deadly violence in New Orleans.
In the end, it's just the criminals that are ruining it for everyone who lives here.
There is something really wrong when you have to walk outside your house and that is part of your day, that some woman is getting dragged down the street.
Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
Nobody knows if 73-year-old Linda Fricky's life could have been saved after 4 juveniles carjacked her Monday, dragging her and ultimately severing one of her arms. City records showed that a 911 call was made within moments after the attack and that response times were within national standards.
In moments like that, every second feels like a minute, every minute feels like an hour. So we don't want to devalue that experience in any kind of way.
A timeline of events provided by the city shows the first 911 call received at 1:36, with NOPD dispatched 2 minutes later and arriving at 1:43. Witnesses at the scene said it seemed like an eternity.
That's a 7-minute gap. That obviously feels like a tremendously long time while you're there on the scene, and for anyone that's gone through a horrific incident. But in terms of response time, OPCD and the first responders did exactly what was expected of them.
With Fricky bleeding profusely but still breathing, an ambulance didn't arrive until 1:47. That's 12 minutes from the first 911 call, and right at the time compliance. The city said 2 factors may have delayed the ambulance's arrival. The original call reported the carjacking but not the injury, and then NOPD needed to declare the scene safe for paramedics. Mike Perlstein, Eyewitness News.
Today's episode is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. How do you feel about it? And all you have to do is click apply. That's joinhoney.com/podcast.
Okay. So they released the dash cam video, the security footage, and you saw that earlier, of the alleged suspects right here. And these are teenagers, the oldest being 17 and the youngest being 15. And one boy, and all girls. And all of them are expected to be, there's room, they don't know for sure. It's got to be something that's determined by the district attorney, whether they will be charged all as adults for this heinous crime. Now, I'm a criminal defense attorney, but I'm not stupid. I have a heart, ladies and gentlemen. What I saw, and let me say this, they are alleged to be the perpetrators. I say that because they are presumed innocent until proven guilty. I always
Back to our
say
breaking news. 4 teenagers have been arrested in a carjacking.
I'm gonna finish playing this video, but what is interesting, and yes, it's fair use, is that the parents of these teenagers turned them in. Upon seeing the security footage, as it's being reported on WWL-TV and on Fox News and various other New Orleans websites, the parents turned these 4 kids in. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it now. They don't disclose who the names of any of these kids are because, of course, they are children.
Yesterday that took a gruesome turn. The victim got caught in the car and was dragged to her death. She was identified this morning as 73-year-old Linda Fricky. Tristan Land joins us live. And Tristan, how did police find?
Yeah, we're told a family member who recognized one of the suspects from her surveillance photo alerted police and turned her in. Now a warrant is now out for a 4th suspect. Our sources say detectives served at least one search warrant overnight at the home of one of the suspects. They found clothes similar to those in the surveillance photos. The suspects are accused of dragging 73-year-old Linda Fricky for blocks during a violent carjacking in broad daylight. Witnesses say it happened when a vehicle pulled up next to her parked SUV on North Scott Street. That's when someone jumped in her SUV and forced her out, but she got tangled up in the seatbelt when the car sped off. She was dragged around the block before police say her arm detached from her body. Paramedics pronounced her dead at the scene. Police later found the woman's car abandoned in the Bayou St. John neighborhood. Witnesses say that what happened in the neighborhood was horrific. New Orleans police held a press conference today giving credit to the parents for turning the suspects in. Take a listen.
The parents of one 15-year-old female immediately called our investigators and turned their daughter in. Then the parents of the 17-year-old turned her son in, at which time we executed a search warrant at a location in the 3rd district. I want to thank the 3rd district as well, where we located the 17-year-old male and the 16-year-old female within that residence. And then within the last hour, 15-year-old female turned herself in. And I can say this was an incredibly difficult decision on behalf of these parents. And I want to commend them for doing the right thing. And absolutely, we need more parenting like that.
And I want to correct that a 4th suspect was arrested again. All 4 suspects were arrested and taken into custody. There was no immediate word on the identities of those who were arrested, but they were said to be juveniles. Live at NOPD headquarters, Tristan Land, Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Tristan. District Attorney Jason Williams released a statement on the carjacking. He called it a heinous and unthinkable and promised to prosecute anyone involved to the absolute fullest extent of the law. Williams also asked the city for more funds. He says his office needs more resources to deal with the recent surge in violent crime. This is a developing story. We'll pass on any updates as they come. Check back on air on WWLTV.com and on our.
So you heard the police chief speak, and let me say this: a lot of people, I have issues with this police chief. What's going on in New Orleans now? They have not done. City officials have not done a great job in terms of crime. I live for instance, in District E. I live in New Orleans East area, and we seem to be plagued by issues of crime, carjacking people, armed robbery. Every night, at least, I'm hearing gunshots go off in my backyard, or if not in my backyard, in my front yard, because it's coming from all directions. It is a nuisance. And our city officials have not done anything about it. And we only have one police station that mans the entire district area. So you're talking about over 100,000 people in one area, and you got one police station that's out here. When you need more. Now, I'm not normally a fan of more police, of course, but we need more police, as Eddie Griffin would say. Eddie Griffin once said. And not, of course, this is a serious thing. This woman, Miss Fricky, she did not deserve to die like this. And I get that these are children that are involved, and maybe they didn't go thinking that they were going to kill someone. But the fact, and I say allegedly, let me start over. Allegedly did this. But the fact of the matter is, someone did die as a result of his or her or their actions. And actions have consequences. And we need parents to step up. The parents did the right thing. You're exactly right, DeAndre. We have incompetent politicians and public officials. Some of them aren't even incompetent. Some of them are competent, know exactly what they're doing. They just don't give a damn and are collecting a check. This police chief is horrible. I don't encourage violence, but I encourage self-defense, absolutely. And sadly, the thing about this, because you saw from the pictures, Miss Fricky is a white woman. We had a situation where a black woman out here in New Orleans East was shot delivering groceries to her parents. And there was some outrage about it, but we haven't heard too much about it since, although those teams were picked up. But now, with Miss Fricky, who's a white woman, having her arm torn off, watch and see the improvement in funds. The money is going to flow in which they're going to start policing these streets in New Orleans. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to bring the National Guard out here. Now, it's not, I don't think, that bad to that point, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And that's something we don't want. But you got to have control. These parents, that had to be a tough decision, but I guarantee that was the right decision. And if it were my father, if it were my mother, I'm pretty sure they would do the same thing. If I had children, my wife and I, my girlfriend and I would hope it never came to that. But we need that. We need parents to step up. Yeah. When they saw him immediately walking from the house, and look, this is 1:30 in the afternoon. What are they doing out of school? School ends at 3:30 or 3. When I was coming up, school ended at 3 o'clock. Sometimes you stay. That's when officially school ended. Although you had people, you might have had stuff afterwards. If you have, I know in public school, they may have, short days depending on what the school schedule is like, where they get out at 2 o'clock. I used to have that happen when I was in high school. But 1 o'clock, but let's be real, we got a lot of kids that play hooky. Stay strapped, people. I'm sorry for Miss Fricky and her family. In fact, I guess I can play this. They actually did an interview with WWL TV about her. I'm gonna let this be the last one on this, but I wanted to talk about this one because this was huge news out here in New Orleans. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this video clip right now. You can see Miss Fritz.
I've gotten 2 hours of sleep last night. I'm holding it together the best I can. When it comes to Linda Fricky, all the members of her big family agree she was the go-to person for everyone. And Linda was the one who was always home at 4:30 getting our kids if we wasn't there. You know, you could call Linda at any moment. She would help you with anything.
She was the mama who taught little Prudence to sew, who ran the household for her husband, Ricky, the mother and mother-in-law to be, who was a best friend.
She was kind. She would do anything for anyone, even the worst people that would hurt her. She was there no matter what for you.
And at 73, Linda was the insurance agent who took care of her clients' personal needs.
The elderly people, if they didn't have a ride and needed to go to the store, she would take them to the store.
She was the one in the family who taught and lived forgiveness.
Her herself probably would have forgiven them. Probably the only thing she wouldn't have forgave was them taking her away from her grandchildren.
The family is absolutely heartbroken over the lack of humanity in her final moments.
He opened the door.
And kicked her.
He kicked her, tried to kick her loose, but she didn't come loose.
That's the one
Her
thing.
arm ripped off.
That's the one thing the sisters are having a hard time dealing with, is how our sister died.
I would say absolutely. I would ask that they be charged as adults.
The family says the DA's office told them they are looking into trying the juveniles as adults. They plan to go to every court date, every hearing. The chief talked about the emotions of the from their children
An hour after the police station. So, I mean, of course, there are a lot of emotions.
And in the spirit of how Linda nourished her family, her relatives are also thinking about the families, the parents who made the tough decision to turn their children in.
I'd like to thank and also give my heartfelt sorrow to the parents that did turn their children in for doing this.
Yes.
And to show how a split decision can change lifelong plans, Linda's husband, Ricky, had just retired March 1st. She joined him in enjoying those golden years beginning in November. Meg Farris, Eyewitness News.
Nobody knows if 73-year-old Linda Fricky's life could have been saved after 4 juveniles.
So y'all know what's gonna happen in life. But this, if they're tried as adults, and there's some problems with that, of course, because with juveniles, you know, you normally, when you're 15, you know, they don't try, of course, because of cruel, unusual punishment. You know, these are juveniles. We know that kids' brains aren't really developed. There's a certain cutoff with things of that nature. When you're in the placed in juvie hall, you actually get it till you're adjudicated. You are sentenced up until the age of 21 years old until you're adjudicated and you're released into society. And the thing is, those that honestly, they got some people who don't need to be released back in society. And this is me talking as a criminal defense lawyer. Some people don't need to be back. We got a few likes in the chat here. Brother Bernard, who's watching. Some people that are replying. So yeah, man, what do y'all think was gonna happen? Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We got a bunch of incompetent. Let's talk about people in the wrong profession, people in the wrong business. Now, some of you probably are not watching this live stream if you're on the West Coast because you still are at work, but some may be. Yes, it is sad, Trev. It's real sad. But I got to talk about this because this pissed me off to the fullest. This Cheryl Cooky, Professor Cheryl Cooky, and that's right. Cheryl Cooky, definitely. Do-do-do-do. 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 She's creepy and she's kooky. She's lost her mind and spooky. I can't believe she kooky. The Cooky family. I couldn't think of nothing. I couldn't think of anything that rhymed real good. But I want y'all to look at, okay, so let me show you two different things. Now, when you look here on the website, on NBC's website, they have, quote, there's the headline, Leah Thomas's NCAA championship performance gives women sports a crucial opportunity. Anyone who cares about the advancement of sports and women's sports in particular should celebrate her win. Now, I'm going to stop sharing and let me show you the other video, the other part of it. Now, for those that don't know, let me just clarify. Leah Thomas is a transgender, is a tranny. This was a dude that placed 402nd or 462nd, I believe, in the male swimming race, you know, what male swimming competition for the NCAA, and then decided he wanted to be a woman, and he won this championship, beating all these other girls, and got booed. Cheryl from Purdue wrote this disrespectful article on comparing Thomas to Jackie Robinson, and this is what I'm talking about here. The actual title, the original title is Opinion. We should be celebrating Leah Thompson like we did Jackie Robinson. That's the original title of this 20 hours ago, and whoa, I'm sorry. I just saw this thing on Judge Jackson.
As you said, the guys were basically on a statutory scheme and on specific directives by Congress at a time in which more serious child pornography offenders were identified based on the volume, based on the number of photographs that they received in the mail. And that made total sense before, when we didn't have the internet, when we didn't have distribution. But the way that the guideline is now structured, based on that set of circumstances, is extremes in the system, because it's so easy for people to get volumes of this kind of material now by computers. So it's not doing the work of differentiating who is a more serious offender in the way that it used to. So the commission has taken that into account, and perhaps even more importantly, courts are.
I'm not even talking about that. Let me go back. So someone put this up. This is from South Park, where they had Macho Man Randy Savage winning a strong woman competition. And you see all the women, one woman was beaten up and placed third, the woman who was second. Now, you look at this, look at how the girl on the right is looking over here. But
adjusting their sentences.
But this Leah Thomas, they're saying should be celebrated like Jackie Robinson. I'm sorry, I had stopped. Now, let's look at Jackie Robinson. Okay, you all know who Jackie Robinson is, but for those that don't know, this is Jackie Robinson, the first African American, first Black American to break baseball's color barrier at a time in the 1940s when it was illegal for blacks and whites to play on the diamond. Jackie Robinson would actually be threatened with jail time for playing with his teammates and his opposing team and his opponents on the baseball diamond back in the 1940s. Jackie Robinson also was a second lieutenant in the United States Army for 2 years, who was court-martialed because he refused to get up and sit in the back of the bus and actually threatened the lives of all of the white men on there who tried to get him off, saying anybody puts their hands on me is a dead son of a bitch, according to the court-martial records. You read this here. He was a member of the 761st Black Panthers Tank Battalion. Now, he never saw action in the Army. But he refused to participate in segregate. He refused it outright to move to the back of the bus. Because Robinson confronted the investigating duty officer about racist questioning by the officer and his assistant. Now, a lot of people have issues. I know the generation in the 60s took issues with Jackie Robinson with some stuff because Jackie started to come at Muhammad Ali and the Black Power movement and was criticized for that. But Jackie Robinson, nevertheless, was a Black American who went through discrimination and racism, and he could not tuck his skin color or nip his skin color as what some of these other people do who would try to compare themselves to being Black. Yeah, he was a member of, before he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers, yes, he was a member of the Negro Leagues. And I had this title in the description earlier as NBC, but I didn't want to make the title too long. But it's NBC and Professor Cheryl Cooky, rather, I should amend that, who disrespect Black Americans and disrespect the legacy of Jackie Robinson. But let's go to the article. So this is who Jackie Robinson is. You all know familiar with Jackie Robinson. He died in 1972. And he actually was a young man when he died. You see how he was 53, and you see Jackie already looks like he's 74. His wife, who is still alive, he suffered from heart disease and diabetes, but Jackie's wife actually is still alive right now. And wife Rachel, beautiful woman, is almost 100 years old. She'll be 100 in July. That's a blessed life. But it's disgusting for anyone to compare themselves to Jackie Robinson, his legacy, what he had to go through. Winner of the Rookie of the Year award in 1947, was an all-star for 6 consecutive seasons from 1949 to 1954. Won the Most Valuable Player award in 1949 by the National League. He was the first Black player to do so. Also won a World Series with the Dodgers in 1955 and played in 6 World Series. Was a first ballot Hall of Famer in 1962. His number is retired by all MLB teams. No one can wear 42 because there's only one 42. So this thing, Cheryl Cooky, and I don't care who gets mad with me for saying this. I'm mad that you compared this thing to Jackie Robinson. I don't care. You can call it transphobic, homophobic, home alone. blacknophobia. I'm gonna call you blacknophobia. I'm gonna call you blacknophobic or heterophobic. How about that? Because you insult me, you insult foundational Black Americans by comparing this to Jackie Robinson and what he did breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Has Leah Thomas had to actually face death threats while she was in the swimming pool? She was in the swimming pool? Where she did not have to sleep in segregated hotels? Be denied the right to vote? Use separate bathrooms? He gets the nowadays you get to use whatever bathroom you want. You better not tell nobody you can't use this bathroom. You better not say you don't like you don't agree with same-sex marriage or transsexuals, because they'll take your job. You're gonna lose your job. Don't make jokes about them either. They're gonna cancel you like they did Chappelle. You see how crazy these people are? Now I want you to read. I'm gonna read the. Let's out. Now she tries. If you read further, they tried to say, with regards to the U.S. To swimming policies, the NCAA was resistant to adopt the United States swimming policies, which was among the most restrictive, requiring testosterone suppression for 36 months. And she goes on further saying, those who oppose the inclusion of trans women in women's sports argue that trans women have an unfair competitive advantage and that as a result, they will take away opportunities from cisgender athletes. According to the NCAA, these assumptions are not well-founded. Okay, who's saying that it's not well-founded? Because I can tell you, you're saying there's a lack of scientific evidence that conclusively demonstrates a direct link between testosterone and athletic performance. Maybe the reason why there's not a direct link is because the people who are saying that, the so-called scientists, are gay themselves or transgender themselves. Let's be real about it. Because I can tell you in the 1970s, when the American Psychiatric Association removed homosexuality as a mental disorder in 1973-74, they did not remove it because they found evidence that people were born gay. This was in the 70s. And there is a video online of the then president actually discussing why they removed it, discussing that, yes, they did. They wanted more discussions about homosexuality to see whether it should be removed or not, but they removed it because there was pressure that was put on them to do so. The LGBTQ groups came into that their convention, forged credentials, got the mailing list of all the psychologists and psychiatrics across the country, the psychiatrics, all of the men doctors, women doctors as well, and mailed out false mailing lists to remove that from the DSM, and they did. And to this day, they never said or found out whether they had the evidence or not. They just tell you that, but for sure. So how can you trust the study? Especially if they're gay or if they're LGBTQ, they have a bias. Of course they would say stuff like that. But where I get that doesn't bother me as much as what it bothers me right here. When you say the Supreme Court unanimously decided in Brown versus Board of Education that separate is not equal and segregation violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, despite this, sports have been able to operate under a separate but equal framework upheld by the notion of biological difference between the sexes. Yes, because there is. It's called Title IX. It's a federal law. that feminist protest wanted. They wanted that. They wanted equal treatment in sports. It's funny how you want equal rights for everyone except to a certain degree. Like you don't turn into a play football. You honestly, a woman 5'4" who now wants to be a 5'4" male, a man, and she played, let's say she played football. You know, they used to have the lingerie football league. They don't call it that anymore because they said that was sexist. But you honestly think she wants to go and compete with the likes of against a Von Miller or Aaron Donald or Ndamukong Suh on defense, and she's a running back? You honestly think she wants to go up against a 300-pound male? Oh, excuse me. She wants to be a male now. She thinks she's gonna do that? You think she's that smart? So you vote Brown versus the Board of Education. And here's where it goes south. You compare a Chicken McNugget to a Big Mac. You compare a Chicken McNugget, rather, excuse me, not a Big Mac, because that's still McDonald's food. Chicken McNugget to a prime rib. You say, moreover, athletes of color played in the NFL in the early years of the league, only to be excluded as the league developed. Today, athletes like Jackie Robinson are celebrated as breaking the color barrier in sports, although that narrative often requires sanitizing, simplifying, or rewriting a more complex, nuanced, and contradictory history. There remains through a cultural investment in celebrating sports first, whether that be Robinson as the first Black MLB player, the first openly active gay player in the NBA, the first non-binary U.S. athlete to participate in the Winter Olympics, or the first woman to score in a Power 5 college football game. By the way, the woman who scored in the Power 5 college football game, the team lost. They got blown out. She kicked a field goal. The team lost 48-3. I don't remember what the score. They got blown out. So what was the okay? You made history. It did nothing. And the team actually walked out. I'm sorry, I got the score wrong. 42-17. Vanderbilt. You honestly think this Sarah Fuller, be real, y'all honestly want, I don't know how tall she is, but let's just say for the sake of argument, she's 5'3", 5'4". You honestly think she could go up against a 6'2" defensive, 300-pound defensive lineman? A 6'4"? And if he knocks her out, y'all gonna be crying and complaining. You shouldn't hit her. That's a female. I'm in NBC. You know, this is the same NBC. You're the same NBC that disrespected our elder who actually saved your ass from bankruptcy by putting out the hit piece, The Women Speak, Cosby, on Dateline on Cosby. You didn't even give him the opportunity to have his lawyer speak. You didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. And you disrespect us further by allowing, and I get they have a right to say what they want, but this is another insult to the Black community. This is bullshit. Plain and simple. This wasn't just about someone's opinion. This was about slapping us in our face. And I personally will write, I'm going to write the letter or response to this woman, this professor, Cheryl Cooky. Who does she think she is? The nerve of this woman to compare a transgender to Jackie Robinson. What they went through when they didn't even have to go through half the shit that Jackie Robinson had to go through. How dare you? How effing dare you? All the stuff black people have been fighting for in this country. We fought for the right to be a human being. We didn't fight for the right to sleep with whoever we want and have it blessed by everybody. And that's the main thing. I think, you know, people would be cool. Like I'm going to be real here. I interact with people who are gay. I interact with transgender. I know people who are transgender. I interact with people who are gay all the time. In my line of profession, not just as an attorney, although some of them they're not open about it, but being in comedy, the comedy field doing stand up, we have comedians, stand up comedians that are gay. But they know, and I treat them no differently how I would treat others. If I shake their hands, I wipe it off afterwards. I sanitize them afterwards. No, I'm just no. I treat people how I would want to be treated. I agree, but it does not mean though I have to bless everything that they do. I don't have to say, yeah, you do what you want to do, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stand when you're throwing the bouquet. I'm gonna be waiting for it to hit so I can grab it. That doesn't mean I gotta walk you down the aisle. And a lot of people, and what I'm seeing today, and I think a lot of people now are speaking up about it, although legally, from a legal standpoint, this is already here when they should have pushed back years ago when this stuff was going on. More people are speaking up about it, but it's too little too late to say anything because they control, and let's just be real, all of the major networks, all the major businesses, the Fortune 500 companies are behind them, behind their group. And I think, but more people are getting fed up. Now, you honestly think that if she had compared, this is William Thomas, his real name William, but he goes by Leah Thomas. You honestly think this Professor Cooky would actually compare, I don't know, Leah Thomas to Billie Jean King, or let's say who else? Who else is someone else that's a transgender? You actually think she would pair, Billie Jean King, who's openly gay, but broke a lot of barriers for female tennis players? Who's another one that was great? You think she would compare them to compare him to the likes of her to the likes of, I don't know, who's someone else? I can't think of any right now. Well, how about this? The first Jewish swimmers are the first Muslim swimmers. The first Irish American, the first Catholic, the first Italian Americans. Hell no. You picked Jackie Robinson for breaking the color barrier. Bruce Jenner was already, look, when he transitioned, he had already won his Olympic medals. But I'm so sick of this shit. And I'm going to have a blistering response. I certainly want to write a response to Professor Cooky, and I would share it with NBC, because her comparison to Jackie Robinson and what he went through in the color barrier was utter bullshit. And you can quote me on it. Comparing Leah Thompson to Jackie Robinson is bullshit. You insult my people, you insult me with this. Now let's move on. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Donate to the Cash App, please, if you like this channel. Also go to our website, known as CreoleBlends.com, order you some seasoning. Now, I'm getting a little lighter news, but I guess here's some more bullshit. I was gonna do Joker Joe, but I'm gonna do Juicy Jussie. Now, I talked about this last week, and shout out to the brother from TD Hip Hop. But This is how we got to start dealing with these people. So I'm going to include Juicy Jussie's brother, who actually had this stuff to say about the Black community. His brother, Jacqui, insults the Black community. And he goes, and News One, I don't know if they ever respond, but News One, and I have my issues with News One, of course, that's still roly-poly. I don't know what connection they have with Roly, but that's part of that crowd. You know, you know, the Bill Cosby doc was fair because I was in it, and they even offered me some oatmeal. But y'all read this article. I showed the video, but how he called out the Black community. And he's holding his fist up. This punk holding his fist up like Angela Davis. He thinks he's Angela Davis. Remember when Angela Davis was walking out the courtroom and did the Black Power fist? And look, coming out all in black, the Black Panther. You heard of the Black Panthers? No, this is the Black Panther because this is a baby. But he says homophobia in the Black community is the reason for the lack of support. Listen to what this nigga says. I'm not holding back tonight, y'all.
Our community is innately
I'm
has a lot of
sorry.
homophobia in it, and they leveraged that fact. They knew that ultimately Jussie was not going to get the same type of support as a straight Black man, and it's been obvious. I find it very difficult to believe that this ever would have gotten this far if Jussie was a straight Black man. And so we need to really think about that. Celebrities, common people, everyone.
It wouldn't have gotten far because his ass would have been in jail already.
We need to think about the fact that literally society at large fails him. And hopefully one day the truth comes out to where people can see it clear as day. I don't know how they don't see it now, but hopefully someday that happens. And when that day happens, it's really a shame that it took that long for folks to understand that.
Jackie, so you think that if Jussie were a straight Black man, the public reception would have been way less intent on vilifying him from the jump?
Hands down. As a straight Black man, that is hands down what would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me rewind it.
You can see it clear as day. I don't know how they don't see it now, but hopefully our community is innately has a lot of homophobia in it. And they leveraged that fact. They knew that ultimately Jussie was not going to get the same type of support as a straight Black man. And it's been obvious. I find it very difficult to believe that this ever would have gotten.
It's because he was lying. He was lying. His story didn't make a lick of sense. What did Dave Chappelle say? Our silence was actually support for him because we knew deep down this nigga was clearly lying. His name on that show was what? What was his name on the show? His name was Lion, right? Exactly. He lived up to his moniker, right to his character. Bussy X, that's a good one. Assalamu alaikum and bottom bakums. No disrespect to the Muslim community for that, but assalamu alaikum and bottom bakums. That's what he's thinking. Fake
this far if Jussie was a straight Black man. And so we need to really think about that. Celebrities, common people, everyone. We need to think about the fact that literally society at large fails him. And hopefully one day the truth comes out to where people can see it clear as day. I don't know how they don't see it now, but hopefully someday that happens. And when that day happens, it's really a shame that it took that long for folks to understand that.
Jackie, so you think that if Jesse were a straight black man, the public reception would have been way less intent on vilifying him from the jump?
Hands down, as a straight black man, that is hands down what would have happened.
You know what? I don't normally like to do this because I know that we need to just boycott that whole family. Don't watch their movies, don't watch their TV show, nothing. Even Jernay, I'm sorry. I know it's her fault too, because she's enabling this shit. I get that's her family. I get that's your brother. That's your big brother. You want to defend him. I understand it completely. I go through it in court. I see family members all the time when their baby, when their loved one, when their father, brother, husband, or even if it's females, if it's their sister, their daughter, their wife, they want to defend them. They want to defend them, but you know what? I regret I'm not watching when the new Birds of Prey come out and she's in it. I'm not gonna watch it because I'm sick of this. Y'all enabling them, cut their money. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna say they can't make a living. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not watching it. So that's the tornado. That's the tornado watch we got now, or it's a tornado warning. So if my power goes out, y'all know why, but that's why I want to start this early. But I got my phone charged. So right now it's not doing anything, but I can see it's just pitch gray. I can hear the rain and so forth. It was real gusty earlier. So this is expected to pass by 8:30ish, but exactly, one who cares. A straight black man would have gotten it 10 times worse. If he pulled a stunt like this and lied, saying he got attacked by some white supremacists, they wouldn't believe us from the beginning. I honestly think he got put up to it. And look, I'm gonna say this, and I respect Brother Harvey. I respect Nicole, and I saw Harvey did a follow-up video because he's talked about how he thinks justice should be out, and some other black people you've all said, yeah, he shouldn't really do jail time. No, fuck him. The hell with that. Don't y'all be. I get we're staying on code, trying to stay on code with stuff, but some of our people, when they disrespect us like this isn't like, and they don't need our support. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm not gonna sit up here and say I want him to go to jail for the rest of his life, but I'm not gonna say he don't need to be in jail. I'm not gonna say he doesn't need to suffer. I'm not gonna do what Taraji P. Henson did, writing stuff and talking about Emmett Till and so forth. No. I'm done. I'm done with Juicy Jesse. I'm done with his brother Joker. That's what his name is. He's a joke. To disrespect the black community. Like Dave Chappelle said, we were supporting him by being quiet because we knew your story didn't make a lick of sense. Even when I heard it, like, this is off. I didn't go on saying that I think he was lying, but all I did, when I came on, we talked about it. We reported it. Talked about what happened and listened. Because, yeah, it could have happened, but as more and more came out, it just didn't make sense. So how is this, the black community, first and foremost, when you talk about being the most having a problem with homophobia, you have an entire Republican Party that doesn't treat LGBTQ right. That were fighting against gay marriage. Yeah, black people are inherently, we're conservative, we don't support it, but we're not the ones out here committing hate crimes against gay people. and your brother took, as someone myself who has been the victim of a racial attack, your brother disrespected many of the victims, although mine wasn't severe like Emmett Till or George Steinme Jr. or the Scottsboro Boys, but all of the people from the Tulsa, Oklahoma incident to Rosewood, remember, those people were killed, those black people were killed off of a lie that started and spread. So your words mean something. But you're going to disrespect the black community, man. To hell with this Negro. Now, excuse me for my language. You know, I know a lot of people don't expect me because of my profession, but I curse. I do. But it is what it is. I'm insulted by what I'm seeing. I am utterly, as a black man, I am utterly insulted by these attacks that I'm seeing from those who claim to be part of our own people and those outside the community. It's enough we deal with it outside the community. We got someone who, although I know he's of mixed race, your mother was black, so you know what it should know and have some idea of what it's like to be a black person in this country and why you don't play with stuff like this. And to insult the entire black community about homophobia, the biggest problem we have in this country is racism and white supremacy. Lack of economic power. I should say proper use of economic power, because we have the economics, we just don't practice it well. Disgusted. But the hell with Juicy Jussie and his, I'm done. They can squeeze him like orange juice for all I care. You said, how's the Supreme Court selection going? I haven't watched everything of it. I saw that she said they said Roe v. Wade was settled law. That doesn't surprise me. She's a Democrat. You got to remember, presidents that select judges, they select them based off their party line. They always have. Yeah, Dad. Uh-huh. How far? All right. All right, huh? Now? All right. Yo, I'm going to have to end the broadcast now because we have a tornado warning in effect. But I'll pick back up, God willing, we're here. But you all, my phone is charged. I'm going to be safe. Y'all say a prayer for us. So let me get on out of here, y'all. Love you. God bless. Donate to the Cash App if you can.